Yo, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today, I'm bringing you guys my CHIMERA Fiend Smith deck profile that I played at the regionals over this past weekend on Sunday. I ended up getting 26th place out of 230-ish players. Didn't get top 8, didn't get the sweet engraver mat, but we did get our invite to nationals, so I thought I would come on here and showcase you guys this deck. I know a lot of people like this deck. Every time I watch a DB Grinder video on this deck, people are always asking for more of it, so I thought I would share my thoughts on the list and yeah, the deck itself. So hopefully you guys enjoy this and let's get right into it. So starting off with the main deck, the reason why this deck is playable is the Fiend Smith engine. So I play 3 Fiend Smith Engraver, 1 Lurie, 1 Necrom, 1 Undusted Gold. Your engine gets to this. The big Baphomet Fusion gets to this. So, and of course we play the Tract. I see some lists of this deck playing 2 Engraver, which I mean, I guess I understand why, because you can get to it with this, but just opening this in your opening hand allows you to push through boards a lot better, because this forces and does so much on its own. Like its ascend, it does a lot on its own. So I'm maxed out on this card because these cards are insane. These are the best cards in the game right now. So I'm playing max copies of the best cards in the game right now. So this engine was just absolutely insane all day, and it is the reason why this deck is playable. Next up, for the Illusion engine, I have 3 Cornfield Codal. If you draw Engraver, you can start with your Fiendsmith plays, get all the way to Necroquip Princess, use Cornfield to search, usually for this. But then on res, you can use Necroquip Princess to draw a card, which I did a lot during the tournament. So 3 Gazelle. This is like your main normal summon now. You don't really want to normal summon the Sword Knight, even though I did play 3. This should just be 2, and it should be 3 Apprentice. I just didn't own another Apprentice. This card's kind of expensive right now. So this should be a 3rd Apprentice, because you don't really want to normal summon this card anymore. You mostly want to reborn it later on in your combo off of Master Tau, if you make it that far. And so yeah, your main normal summon now is this, which is what this usually searches. This card being able to search on summon and when it's fusioned is insane. And then Apprentice just being a free special summon, level 6 body to help make rank 6s and of course make the Chaos Angel. I would definitely play 3 Apprentice and 2 Sword Knight, but like I said, didn't have the 3rd Apprentice and I wanted max consistency, so I just ran the 3 Sword Knight. And Sword Knight is not terrible to draw still, even though you want to normal summon the Gazelle, because if you start with Poly or Chimera Fusion, you can start your plays off by making this guy right here, and then you just have Sword Knight in the graveyard to check one of their end board pieces, like it can negate Desiree, Soul of Rage, whatever. So for the rest of the Illusion engine, the one-ofs, I play 1 Baphomet. This should be standard. I see some people still playing 2 of this card. This is not like your main play anymore. The old version of this deck before the Fiendsmith cards was just like get to this and search 2 cards. Which sometimes I don't even get to nowadays. Like I use the reborn effect more than the on-field effect. I mostly will get to this on my opponent's turn for follow-up, but you still play the 1 because it does come up, and then you play the 1 Master Tau, does the same thing, reborns an illusion, which is nice. And then the end board piece, the Diabels, pretty much the anti-spell type card. This card is insane against board breakers, runic matchups. Card's really good. And then, of course, the triple Chimera Fusion to fuse your field. So yeah, that's pretty much the Illusion engine. Now on to the 3rd engine in the deck, which is just the Patchwork engine. 2 Patchwork, 2 Chain, 2 Polys. Don't play different artworks of Polys, because at some point in the game, your opponent will realize you have 2 different artworks of Polys, and they'll know you play 2 Poly, so there's just no point to do that. I just didn't really give a you-know-what. So yeah, that was the engine. Sided this engine out for like more hand traps and stuff. Sometimes I would keep like 1 Poly because this deck really struggles without a fusion spell. And like access to Fiendsmith stuff. So this deck really needs a fusion spell. So sometimes I would side out like 5 of these, just keep 1 Poly in or something like that. Sometimes I would leave it in. But I just really, honestly, I was scared to play these cards because I've played these cards in the past and branded and in this deck and stuff like that. These cards can contribute to a lot of bricks. So, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with these cards. When you just open this, it's like the best thing ever, but when you open like multiple pieces of that engine, it's really bad. Last technically engine card is Foolish. Can dump Necrom, can dump Tau to Reborn. It's just a very versatile card. Can dump a extra Engraver if you're missing a Light Fiend for Desiree. So there's the extra Foolish. And now for the non-engine that I played, I just played two Bystials. I don't know. They were fine. They were like good against Fiend Smith stuff, but like not like super impactful. But they're rank 6 or level 6s for rank 6s, and Magnum with a +1, body, you know, moon, things like that. I thought these cards were good, so I played them. Next up, low key MVP, Book of Eclipse. Card's kind of crazy. It's most crazy in fusion decks for obvious fusion reasons. But yeah, this card was just insane all day. Crazy board breaker, crazy even going first card. I like it a lot. Book of Eclipse. Next up, we played 3 Impermanence. This was like my only hand trap besides the Bystials. This was originally Nib, but Nib on its own isn't that good, and I was expecting a lot of Ubel, and if you just have Nib against Ubel, it does literally nothing. So I just played Imperm because it was a hand trap. It was a good 6th card to help break boards with the little board breaker approach I took here. Like a lot of the times against Ubel, I wouldn't even drop these turn 1 to play around talents, and like they just had Phantom, so I would like try to use these to break the board and take the Soul of Rage out of the graveyard if they go for the Chamber. So that's what those were used for. And then Impermanence, like I said, just a good 6 card, and just comes clutch sometimes. And the last 2 spots, or last 3 spots, were 2 talents and 1 called by. I only played 2 talents because I didn't want to brick on too many talents, draw like talents and this type of stuff together. It's not good. I drew it a few times. One time was really good. The other times was just like meh. So, but I kind of wish I did see it more because this card's kind of crazy as fuck. But yeah, so that's it for the main deck. It's 42. I just went with like board breakers and just the imperms. So we'll go off to the extra deck now. The standard Fiend Smith extra deck. All these cards. I call this the infinite engine because it is absolutely infinite. These cards were crazy all day, bro. Like, these are the best cards in the game right now, so play them. For the Chimera stuff, I played 1 Chimera, the King of Phantom Beast, just the hand rip guy. You hardly ever really make this turn 1 anymore. There's some spots where you do it, but yeah, you only really need 1. The main one you summon first is the Baphomet, the Mythical King. This one copies his name and sends a Beast Fiend or Illusion from deck to grave on summon. So this card just says you get to use your Fiend Smith cards. So that's mainly what it's used for. Also can dump Tau or dump the anti-spell girl or whatever. Yeah, he's also a level 6 Fiend to make Caesar. So this card, kind of crazy. Definitely played 2 of that card. I played 1 of the Chimera, the Illusion Beast, the OTK machine. This only really comes up against like branded, but there's other spots where it almost came up against pure gimmick puppets, but he had droplet for it because I checked imperm, and yeah, it almost came up, but like I said, he had the droplet, so it wasn't able to go through. But it comes up mostly against branded because it's really hard to crack the whole branded board, you know, and play through Mirror Jade and set up a board. So they just will like leave a random Mirror Jade and attack, and then you just like attack into it a whole bunch of times. So this thing definitely comes up, and it's nice to have. Guardian Chimera, honorary Chimera card. Pretty nice. Then we have the Magnum the Reliever, which is a light fiend. So a lot of the times I would get to like Necroquip, activate Cornfield to search. I would like fuse this off into this and then use its other effect to draw another card. So you just like draw 2, and then this is a light fiend to make sequence and then make Desiree, and then just put this back into the extra deck. So like I summon this a lot to just like draw a card. It's kind of crazy. Now on to the one-ofs. We play 1 Chaos Angel. It comes up with the level 6s that you play, the Fiend Smith stuff. You can make it with light and dark a lot of the time because the Fiend Smiths are light level 6. You have Apprentice, which is a dark level 6. You have Sword Knight, which is a light level 4. You have the Edgem Chain, which is a dark level 4. So Chaos Angel comes up a decent amount, and it's a good card. SP Little Knight, one of the best extra deck cards in the game. Lars, this could be any rank 6 that you prefer. I just played this one because I was like good into the matchups I was scared of, like Tempai and like Runic and stuff like that. Any board breaker decks, this card's pretty good. And then we played the Wave Hiking Caesar, of course, to round off the extra deck there. So yeah, Rainbow extra deck, really fun. I love this. I love this deck. I love the Fiend Smith cards. Now off to the side deck. I played 3 Nib. Like I said earlier in the profile, this was in the main deck, but it's just not good enough against Yubel. Like they always eat this, but it's good against like Ritual Beast, White Forest, some Rogue matchups. So Nib is there. Next up, we played the Phantasme. Really good against Yubel. It draws you into your board breakers and your Bystials and more engine, whatever you're missing. 3 Ash Blossoms for branded and just generic hand traps against, Runic, Ash Tip, Ash Shugen, all that good stuff. And then we played 3 Thrust. And for the Thrust targets, we played 1 D Barrier for Tenpai. We played 1 Feather Duster and just 1 Raigeki. So just generic board breakers to go along with the Thrust package and the Phantasmes and the Nibiru's. And then the Mask Guy token. So my matchups were round 1 versus Gimmick Puppet. I lost. I got literally FTK'd. So round 1 L versus Gimmick Puppets. Round 2 W versus White Forest Runic. Round 3 W versus Tenpai. Round 4 Draw versus Infernoid Snake Eye. Round 5 win against Branded. Round 6 win against Yubel. Round 7 win against Millennium Exodia. And then round 8 tie against Yubel. So in the last round, the Yubel board, he makes pretty much the full board minus Varudris, and my hand is like really gassed. It's like Engraver, Fusion Spell, Sword Knight, whole bunch of shit. So I'm like able to like kind of crack the board, and like put him on little, but he's like top deck Beckoning Beast, and like I have monsters on the field, so he just crashes. I just die. Game 2, I open up like Engraver, some Illusions, and Patchwork. So I go Engraver. I get all the way to where I have like Necroquip and Engraver on the field. So I set up this to like check Imperm Nib, because he could still be holding Imperm Nib. Or Valor Nib or whatever. So I have the Caesar on the field. At this point, I assume there's no Bystials because he hasn't Bystialed me. So then I start doing my Chimera stuff. So I go like Cornfield effect to search. I search for Gazelle, normal summon Gazelle effect to search for the fusion spell. He ogres it. Okay, so now he has 4 cards in hand. He ogres, and then I'm like, okay, so I still have fusion spell in hand. I have 2 illusions, so I can't go fusion with double illusion to make the this guy, because he takes a Beast Fiend and illusion, 2 monsters with the different types, Beast Fiend or illusion. So I can't just fuse into this. So then I go Patchwork to try to get a Fiend and the Poly, right? And then he Ash Blossoms that. So at this point, he ogred and ashed. Now he's down to 3 cards in hand. So I'm thinking like, okay, there's no Bystial. It's very unlikely he's holding Nib. Much less Imperm Nib or Valor Nib or something like that. So what I end up doing is using the Chimera Fusion, fuse off the Caesar because it's a Fiend, and one of the illusions in my hand, which was Sword Knight, to make this guy. And then this guy dumps the Master Tau. Master Tau reborns the Sword Knight. So that was like a kind of cool play, I thought, because like earlier in my Yu-Gi-Oh career, I guess, like knowing when to give this up, like most people, I feel like would just be like, I'm keeping my double special summon negate guy, but it's just like better to do this. And then I go into this, I go into the Magnum the Reliever guy, and then I make the Hand Rip guy, and then I just end up winning from there. If I just sat on this, I just get cooked, especially because it was Yubel and they could like get Phantom very easily and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool plays with this deck you can do. Like I also did another cool play where I summoned Requiem, and I like went to fuse into Magnum the Reliever, trying to bait an SP. So I summon this, activate the fusion. He goes like chain SP, target, and then I just chain Requiem, summon the Engraver, and then I can't resolve the fusion because this was the Magnum the Reliever was the only target with something from the extra deck. So This deck has a lot of gas, has a lot of push, so I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think, like I said, in the comments section below, all that good stuff. And thank you guys for watching. Pull up on Twitch. We're probably live over there, twitch.tv/don'tashme. And I'm out. Peace.